Hey kids, so it's Mr. Lansford again, and today I came up with an idea for a lesson that might be a little different, but definitely I think you guys will enjoy. So instead of going over a specific time period, I wanted you guys to do some more personal research on your own history, right? I want you to go into your own personal history and try to kind of connect you guys through that. So today, what we're going to be doing is doing research on your hometown. Yes, your hometown. And the way we're going to do that is through this. Here's the worksheet. So today we're going to be doing online research over your hometown. Now, when I say your hometown, what do I mean? It's pretty simple. Just when you think of your hometown, where is it, right? Where's the place that you feel the most connected to? When you think of home, where is that, right? So it doesn't matter how long you spent in the city or whatever. It just means when you think about home, where's home, right? Also, so there's going to be a lot of varying answers on this. So there are going to be some smaller answers, and then there's going to be some bigger answers, right? Something more of like a Western Kansas instead of like Wichita, right? So for smaller towns, it can be kind of an issue because the information is going to be harder to find, and that's okay. That's okay. In fact, I think that'll be the fact that it's a smaller town and the fact that the you guys are going to have to do a little bit of work with it, I think is going to be interesting, right? So, if it's a smaller town and you're having a hard time finding information, right? You should start calling around to people who've lived a long time in the town and kind of know the town very well and try asking them about what they know, and they'll probably know something. If your town hall is open, great. Call your town hall. Your town hall is going to have a lot of information over the history of your town, etc. But it may not be open during this time. Coronavirus, businesses are closed, non-essential things are closed, so you might have a hard time getting your town hall to answer you. If you cannot just find anything over your hometown because it's so small, the information's so limited, then go to the nearest major city or town, right? So let's say you're in Andover and you just really can't find anything because Andover is so small, then you would do Wichita, right? So you do Wichita because it's a lot bigger and it's easier to find information on. Okay? We'll go over reliable sources later. For right now, let's just get into the questions. So when was your town founded? So this, I would like to get as specific as possible, down to the day, month, year kind of thing. But if you can only find, the year, that's okay. But try to get as specific as possible, right? Who founded it? This is more along the lines of if you can get a specific person or specific people who founded the town, great. But a lot of times that's not going to be available. So think about a group or what group found it, right? So for a lot of Kansas towns, it'll be settlers going west, that kind of thing, right? Why was it founded? So this is more on the lines of what was the purpose of the town? What brought people there in the first place? So for Wichita, a good example would be it was created to be a cattle town, right? So Wichita was a small little trading post that before it was a town, and then the town was established to help sell cattle and bring it to the east, right? Bring it to the East Coast. So something on those lines. And then four, make a timeline of major events in your hometown from foundation to modern day. So that means from when the town was created all the way to now 2020, right? So I have an example here for you guys. This won't be on your guys' assignment, but this is here for the video to help show you guys what's going on, right? So Wichita was founded 1864. Railroads reached Wichita in 1872. Helped the cattle move from Wichita to the East Coast. And then fences killed cattle herding, right? So people started making barbed wire fences. Cows couldn't be herded from Texas up to Kansas anymore. So it stopped the cattle industry. These are all major events in Wichita's history, right? And you would go on you go even further on to World War II and making planes in like the 1940s and 1950s, and how Wichita became the air capital of the world, stuff like that, right? And we're gonna go all the way up to modern day, all the way up to 2020. Get pretty much as many major events as you can find into it. So then let's talk about this. So these last two questions are going to be a little bit more ambiguous. These are more your personal opinions rather than stuff that you're going to find in research, right? So does learning about your personal history change how you look at history as a whole, right? So I'm challenging you not to look at the US or Europe or the world history. I'm challenging you to look at your history and the places that you've been, right? Does that change your perspective? Does that change how you feel about history? All right. And also, did you like learning about your personal history rather than a general time period? Did connecting it with you personally, did it make history more enjoyable for you? And now, these are some questions that I would like you guys to answer. They are a little bit harder to find, and you might not find them, and that's okay. But I want you guys to try to find them, all right? So, when did your family move to your hometown? Right? So, whoever that was, whether it was your great grandparents, or maybe it was just you, when you and your mom and dad or whoever moved to this town. When was it? And what was one of your favorite things about your hometown? What is, when you think about your hometown, what is one of your favorite things? And then I want you to do research behind it, right? Who built it? When was it built? Why was it built? All that stuff. You might need to actually call the establishment, right? So if it's a park or if it's a restaurant or store, you might end up calling that restaurant or that store to try to figure out, who made it, when it was made, etc. If it's a park, you might try again, say the town hall, or going to the park and looking at plaques and statues in the park. That might have information on that kind of stuff. Also, a couple more here. What was a major event in your town's history that affected you personally? Right? What were some major events in your town history that really hit you? That really hit you personally and affected you? The idea is trying to tie your personal history with the town, right? What are major events really affected you? And finally, something nice to end off of. What is your favorite memory about your hometown? Just something simple, something sweet to kind of be nostalgic about and reminisce, right? So those are the questions I'm going to need you guys to look up. Also, let's talk about reliable sources really quickly. Remember, we're looking for .edu.govs for the most part. These resources are probably going to be the most reliable, though. Remember, .coms, .orgs, those stuff aren't necessarily off the table, but remember, use your wise judgment to figure it out. Like the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? The Encyclopedia Britannica is a really good resource, and it has a lot of good information. For instance, here, this is the page about Wichita, right? But it is a .com, so there are some useful .com sites, but use good judgment to try to figure out which .com sites are good and which .com sites are bad, right? Also, Wikipedia will be allowed for this assignment, specifically for small town students, people who are from small town, people who are from small towns, because that might be one of the only available online resources. So that will be allowed for this assignment. Okay. All right, then that will be the assignment. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or email your teacher and try to get any information you can from them. Other than that, this is the assignment, and I hope you guys have a good time with it, okay? All right, stay safe, stay healthy. Mr. Lansford signing out.